I'm here at Pitt. Is where I'm staying at. I'm gonna finish my career here. So for everybody wondering, I'm at Pitt, held to Pitt. I'm gonna finish my career here.
Well, it's official. Jordan Addison's name is in the transfer portal, and he's likely going to end up at a brand new program. Now, if I were to guess, that program is going to be USC, but as we've seen in college football this offseason, anything is possible. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you love college football, this is definitely the place for you. Also, if you could take a second and drop a like on this video, I would greatly appreciate it as well. It helps share the video with more college football fans, and it helps out with that really confusing YouTube algorithm. Plus, it only takes a second to do. So it's been a couple days since I posted my Jordan Addison video where I talked about the rumors that he was going to enter the transfer portal and end up at USC. Well, he isn't a Trojan at the time of recording this video, but his name has officially entered the transfer portal. Now, if you guys would like to hear my immediate thoughts on that move, you guys can go check out that video, but I'm pretty much going to be recapping everything I said in that video in today's video, along with all the latest new information that we've learned over the last few days. So for those of you that might not know, Jordan Addison, who won the Biletnikoff Award this past year at Pittsburgh, recently entered the transfer portal. The reason the story has picked up so much storm is because reportedly, USC may have done some tampering in order to get Jordan Addison in the transfer portal to get him at USC. And that's the problem that everyone has with this. Now, I know in the last video, I got a lot of comments saying Jordan Addison should do whatever he wants, he should be able to chase the bag, and I actually talked about that in the video. I am completely okay with Jordan Addison transferring schools if he's getting a $3 million payday. I'm all for these players going and getting the bag wherever it may be. My personal problem with this is that the transfer portal was initially set up for players to go transfer to different programs in order to get better playing opportunities or help their NFL draft stock. Now, at this point, you could make the case that Jordan Addison might be improving his draft stock if he goes to another program, but he's still going to be one of the top wide receivers taken in next year's NFL draft. My personal problem with this whole thing is, I don't think Jordan Addison would have entered the transfer portal. I think he would have stayed at Pittsburgh like he said all the way back in January. I think USC, whether it was boosters, whether it was players, whether it was coaches, whether whoever it was, I think they were going under the radar and letting Jordan Addison know if he were to transfer to USC, he'd be getting up to $3 million. Now, I'm not quite certain how much truth there is to this $3 million rumor, but I think it's safe to assume he's going to be making double or triple at whatever program he transfers to next. I'm sure he was getting some pretty good coin while at Pittsburgh, but come on, if it's USC, Texas, Alabama knocking at the door, they're offering a lot more money. Again, now that's my problem with it. If he wanted to enter the transfer portal on his own to explore other options, by all means go for it. But if the reports are true and USC did some tampering and they did some illegal things, that's where I think college football needs to draw a line. So again, those are my quick 2 cents on the whole situation. I'm all for him chasing the bag, but again, if there was some tampering going on, if there was some illegal stuff going on, I think that's a problem, and I think college football really needs to find a way to fix that before things get out of control for college football's offseason next year. Alright, so let's get to the latest news that's come out over the last few days. Now, majority of people across college football, myself included, just assume that he's going to be going to USC. Well, there was an interesting piece of news that came out on Wednesday as Jordan Addison was reportedly working out with Bryce Young. Now, there's not a whole lot you can read into this as it was just the two of them working out in Southern California. Bryce Young is from the Southern California area, so I'm sure he's just home right now training for the next season. I know a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, if Jordan Addison is training with Bryce Young, that means he's going to be going to Alabama. But also take into account where these two are currently training. They're in Southern California, and what school is in Southern California. Now, I'm not quite certain if Alabama is truly in the Jordan Addison race, but if Alabama were to swoop him up, this will make the rich that much richer. I mean, Alabama has already had arguably the best offseason in regards to the transfer portal, and if they were to add one of the best wide receivers in all of college football and pair him with Bryce Young, yeah, that's just going to make them even better. Like I mentioned, I still think he ends up at USC, but Alabama is certainly a name to keep an eye on. According to an article from 24/7 Sports, sources have indicated that USC and Texas are expected to be involved in the pursuit of Jordan Addison, and there are several other power programs that are also projected to enter the mix. According to the article, it mentions teams like Alabama, Georgia, and Miami. Now, Texas certainly is a little interesting because their wide receivers coach, Brendan Marion, served as Addison's wide receiver receivers coach during the 2021 season, the year in which Addison broke out and won the Biletnikoff Award. So he has that strong familiarity there. Now, I know a lot of people are going to give Texas crap for not being back yet, but they've had a really impressive offseason. They've added some really good offensive weapons, and Quinn Ewers might be the next big thing in college football. Now, he might not, and Texas might fold and finish 500 again next season, but I really do think Texas is a name to keep an eye on. Plus, we know that they have no problem opening the bag and offering Jordan Addison a lot of money if needed. Speaking of former coaches, Pat Narduzzi, who's the current Pittsburgh head coach, reportedly is really pissed off with Lincoln Riley and even called him this last week. According to an article from ESPN, Narduzzi caught wind of USC as a potential destination and called USC coach Lincoln Riley multiple times last week to express his displeasure. He expected that there was tampering going on and he wanted Lincoln Riley to hear his piece. Now, I'm not quite certain if Lincoln Riley picked up the phone, but if I were to guess, I think he might have let that call go straight to voicemail a couple times. Another interesting piece of information from this ESPN article is it says a source close to Addison said on Friday that there's no preordained destination for the receiver and that he could remain at Pittsburgh. It said that Addison isn't looking for any NIL deal and any move would be tied to his professional development. Now, let's be honest with ourselves here. Would Jordan Addison get involved with these crazy rumors, enter the transfer portal, potentially ruining relationships with coaches and players in order just to come back to Pittsburgh? Now, he very well could. He could end up back at Pittsburgh if they offer him more money than these other programs, but I find it impossible for him to return to Pittsburgh. I just don't see that happening at all. At the end of the day, he's most likely going to be a first-round pick in next year's NFL draft. I don't think he's the best wide receiver prospect this year. I think that goes to Jackson Smith and Jigba, but I definitely think Jordan Addison is the number 2 or number 3 wide receiver prospect in next year's NFL draft. Regardless of where he goes, I really don't think he's going to be improving his draft stock. Now, sure, he could go play with Caleb Williams and he could go play with Bryce Young, and that would definitely be an upgrade over Keaton Slovis, but again, I don't think his draft stock is taking that much of an improvement. I think Jordan Addison wants to get as much money as possible, and again, you can't really blame him. So if USC is offering $3 million or if Texas is offering $4 million, that's what his decision is going to be based on. Now, we did have another head coach chime in and provide his 2 cents on this entire situation, and it comes from a coach that really isn't in line to talk about NIL deals. That coach is Jimbo Fisher, who called for rules and guardrails when asked about it this past week. Here's what Fisher had to say when talking at the Houston Touchdown Club. There has to be some kind of rules and guardrails. There is no doubt, because like I said, you usually go ready, aim, shoot. We went ready, shoot, aim, because every state did kind of its own thing, having uniform rules, laws, and everything that goes with it. I think it should definitely be in place, and whoever can put that in place, I think that a very touchy matter from a legal system and all the things going on. But I think something has to be done to have some uniformity, to have some consistency. Now, this is really ironic because Texas A&M has been under a lot of backlash over the last few months about being the target of NIL deals, prying recruits away by paying them more money. Jimbo Fisher isn't the only coach that's expressed his frustration with NIL deals. Nick Saban has been very vocal, expressing his frustration on how NIL is potentially ruining college football. But then again, it's ironic because I'm sure Alabama is going to be taking full advantage of that. So that's the latest surrounding Jordan Addison and this whole debacle in regards to him transferring. Like I mentioned, I don't care where he goes. If he gets the money, good for him. I just really don't like the way this went about. Because like I said, I think he ends up at USC, and I definitely think someone in regards to USC, whether that's a booster, whether that's a player, I think they reached out to Jordan Addison and said, hey, this is how much money we could give you if you come and play at USC. Had it not been for that, I strongly believe Jordan Addison remains at Pittsburgh. Because why all of a sudden, just days before the transfer portal is closing, Jordan Addison, one of the top players in all of college football, decides he wants to enter the transfer portal? Why not enter the portal back in December, or January, or even February? Why all the way at the beginning of May, again, just days before the transfer portal closes? I definitely think the timing of it is a little suspicious. Again, moving forward, players are going to transfer to different programs for various reasons. But if programs are reaching out to that player before they're even in the transfer portal, offering more money, that's where college football has a major problem, and things could get really, really bad starting next offseason. I mean, you're going to have these top-tier programs with unlimited funds that are going to be prying away the best talents at smaller programs. And I think that has a chance to really ruin college football. I mean, at this point, there's already 4 to 6 really good college football teams that are going to be in the college football playoff hunt on a year-to-year basis. If you have these top-tier teams just finding ways to get even better and even stronger, I think that's just going to be a bad hit for college football as a whole. There's just going to be less competition. And the teams that are able to land these 5 and 4 stars, or the 3 and 2 stars that turn into superstars, they're not going to be able to keep these guys at their program for more than 1 or 2 years. So yeah, I just don't like the path college football is going down. I just hope there's going to be some regulations or some ways they're able to fix this moving forward, because Jordan Addison is not going to be the first or last player to take advantage of this. Like I mentioned, the transfer portal is closed now, but come next off season, you're going to have top tier guys switching schools just because other teams and boosters are offering them more money. So what are your guys' thoughts on this entire Jordan Addison situation? Do you think college football needs to set some sort of regulation to prevent tampering like this moving forward? Or do you think it should be open season and fair game for teams to pretty much go and poach players from different programs across the country? Whatever your thoughts are on this entire situation, let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys haven't done so yet, now is the perfect time to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to the channel. If you love college football, then this is definitely the place for you. Oh, and don't forget to leave without clicking that like button, as it helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you all in my next video.